down, of course, and actually, wait, not taking the bottoms of the feet together and the knees wide. Go the opposite direction, Maria. So with the feet as wide as the mat and letting the knees collapse in. Good. And then let's extend the arms up overhead. Yeah. And see if that helps you to elongate the spine at all. And then close your eyes. Let's let today's class really be about just pace and breath. Inhale. And exhale. With each breath, thinking that the face gets soft. Any tension around the throat, the neck, the tops of the shoulders, imagine that loosening. A couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay. Set the feet now about hip width distance apart, thighs parallel. And your left hand is going to grab a hold of the pinky edge side of your left foot. Okay, I'll just, yeah. So I said left, yeah, but that's, yeah, either way, Taking your left foot into like half of a happy baby pose. So then I let my left elbow kind of be on the inside of the left knee. Yep, so it's not on the outside, kind of on the inside there. And then extend and stretch your right leg forward off the top of your mat. So you can think of this almost like when we do a lizard lunge. Right, your left foot would be at the top of the mat, your right foot would be stretching back. Give this some time to begin to open into the inner thighs and to the top of that right leg. Okay. I'm not going to have you do it, but this is where a lot of times I imagine a block underneath that left knee. And it's like you're driving your left knee straight down, towards the floor. Good. Stay there. Inhale. Pace and breath. Exhale. One more. Step your left foot back down into the mat. Knee is bent. Yep. And change sides. Right knee bends. Grab the pinky edge side. Exactly. Yep. Foot is active and flexed. And then once you've kind of stabilized through your right leg, go ahead and extend your left leg all the way forward. And then you can start to play, Maria, right? Like thinking how much you can pull your right heel over your right knee. Yep, kind of stacking. And then pulling down through the pinky edge side of the foot. Yep. Excellent, good. And then think from the core through the top of that left hip, through the center of your left knee, extending all the way forward. Good. Inhale. Exhale, release, and step both feet back down into the mat, bending both knees. So make sure you neutralize. Good. And then full happy baby pose. Grab the pinky edge sides of both feet. And yeah, to the degree that you're able. Okay. So if this class is going to be this like ode to Malasana, right? The way that our kind of inner knees press towards our outer knees. Yep, any movement. And you may even be able to start to wiggle the spine slightly longer. Okay, pull straight down like there's blocks underneath your knees, And think that your sitting bones are widening apart here. Yep, good. Inhale. Exhale. Now keep your legs exactly as they are. And then can you grab your inner heels? So just change the grip a little bit. Yep, so grab the inner heels, inner ankles. And sometimes when I grab that heel bone, actually, yeah, exactly. I have a little bit more power or leverage to pull straight down. Now it's not going to happen, right? But I want you to imagine maybe starting to lift your low back up away from the mat. And so that's going to actually press your sacrum down. Inhale. And exhale. Okay, release and step both feet back down into the mat, hip width distance apart, and then come up onto your elbows and then all the way up onto your hands. Fingertips turned forward. Good. Bend the elbows, draw the shoulder blades onto the upper back, lift up through the side ribs. I always like to look forward, right? Especially if my neck is feeling a little bit stiff. And then lift the hips, peeling them off the mat, coming into your reverse tabletop. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale. Exhale, go ahead and take your hips all the way back down to the mat. And again, bending the elbows, loop the shoulder blades down the back, lift up through the center of the chest, and curling the tailbone up. Yep, so that your low back stays long. So see how your glute muscles, the muscles on the back of the hips, help to lengthen the low back as you squeeze. Inhale. Exhale, lower your hips down. And then cross, Maria, right shin bone in front of your left. Yep, and then just go ahead and take a forward fold. Yep, as much as you want around here. And kind of every time when we take these little pauses, go back to just pace and breath. Inhale. Scoop out the belly, draw it back as you exhale. Roll back up through your spine. Good. Okay. Now this time, fingertips are going to turn backwards towards the back of your mat, slightly different. Step your feet. A little bit better angle. Okay, good. And then from here, same thing. The hips will lift up, but I want you to take your left hand behind the back of your head and think that you're rolling around that right shoulder blade as you lift your chest. Good. So I like to, if we're going to go into the neck, I want you to kind of use actually the power of your neck and your hand together to begin to open the chest and then sit that all the way back down. Inhale through center. And left hand goes back behind you, pick up the hips, bend the right elbow, hold the back of the head, and think that you're widening your right elbow open towards me. Good, as you squeeze your shoulder blades together. Excellent. Drop the hips down through center. We're going to go one more round. Inhale, get a little movement, a little flow there. Push into the heels from your right shoulder, press into the right hand as you roll open. And then back through center. Inhale. And all the way over, left fingertips back. Good. Power down, left shoulder blade. Think that your left bicep is rolling towards the back of the mat. Use your neck a little. See if that helps you to lift your chest. And then come on down. Good. Left shin over right. Change sides. And fold in here. Yeah. Sukhasana. Directing your breath into your low back. Inhale. Exhale. Kind of that constant reminder to relax through the neck, relax through the tops of your shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then as you look forward, roll over your shin bones and come into tabletop position. from table. Toes tucked. Inhale, pull the center of your chest forward for cow. And then hips up and back, down dog. Okay, so to get into Malasana, we're gonna start to get a little bit more into the Achilles tendons and into the calf muscles. Yep, so go ahead, start to pedal that out. Kind of the same way that we were grabbing onto the heel. Think that you're then pressing the heel away from you. Good, and then knees down to the mat, tabletop. Good, biceps forward. Inhale, strong cow. Pace and breath. Exhale, hips up and back, down dog. Yep, really trying to lead with the sitting bones, finding that fold, right? That crease at the tops of the thighs. And one more time, knees down, biceps forward. Inhale, cow. Yep, and stretch the mat forward, being just really, really generous with that bend in your knees. Yep, so that we can actually, there you go. Good, so you really feel that the low back is able to lengthen. And then knees down to the mat, tabletop. Step your right foot where your right hand is, so that then your right arm can reach up towards the ceiling. So let's start to loosen up a little bit into the mid back, right? Because your neck, I think of it kind of having its roots in between the shoulder blades. And as we loosen that up, the neck generally starts to loosen. So stretch up first and then bend your right elbow, hold the back of your head. Yeah. So get a little power through the neck. And then you inhale, open. And then that's your thoracic mobility. Tap right elbow down towards the floor, rounding. Good. And then all the way up. Inhale. So I'm thinking about like pivoting around that left shoulder blade and drop that all the way down. 2, 1 more. Inhale, open. And I'm drawing both shoulder blades in towards the spine here to open the chest. And exhale, tap, touch. Open that all the way back up. Right arm extends up towards the ceiling. Look in the direction of your fingertips. And then your right hand plants down and step that all the way back, downward facing dog. And now here, even in your down dog, make sure that your elbows aren't locked. Just like we don't lock the knees, make sure your elbows just have this like micro bend into them so that you're not squeezing around the base of the neck, and maybe even kind of like shake your head out no a little. And then knees drop down to the mat, tabletop. Yep. Left foot steps where left hand is as your left arm extends all the way up. And then a little thoracic mobility. Hold the back of your head with your left hand. Yep, bending the elbow. Perfect. Yep, there you go. Press the head and the hand together. Inhale, maybe look up. Yep, rotating around that right shoulder. And then tap, touch it all the way down. Left elbow touches the mat towards the inside edge of that left foot. Inhale, open. Exhale, 2. Pace and breath, follow it here. Inhale, squeeze shoulder blades, twist through the ribs, and tap, touch. Push into right hand, open, extend your left arm all the way up. Look in the direction of your fingertips. And then left hand down at the top of your mat and stretch that back, downward facing dog. Okay, maybe just like that reminder, right? That little micro bend to the elbows so that you feel that the shoulder blades can actually slide down your upper back. Like your shoulder blades are integrated on the upper back and the 4 sides of the neck get long here. Good. Lower your knees down to the mat. Point your toes as you sit back on your heels. Yep. Good. Bend your elbows, reach back, interlace your fingers, and stretch the arms all the way back as you lift your chest. Good. Inhale. open kind of round breath around the center of your chest, and then go ahead, Marie, and just let your chin drop down towards your chest. So as the shoulders and the upper arm bones move back and the head drops forward, you get a little stretch to the back of the neck. Inhale. Exhale, release your hands, plant, press back, downward facing dog. Yep, so it can be everything actually on that posterior chain, like the Achilles tendon, the calves, the hamstrings, everything kind of pulling down all the way into our mid back, which then pulls on the neck, knees to the mat. Yep, toes point, push yourself all the way back, bend your elbows. So that bending of the elbows lets you move your shoulder blades onto the upper back firmly, interlace the fingers and stretch the arm bones back here. Now, bend your elbows and take your hands over right below your right side ribs. And then drop right ear to right shoulder. Yeah. Okay, and if you'd like to close your eyes, and we're in no hurry this morning, go ahead and explore that a little bit. Like, does it feel better for you when the head goes slightly forward and down? Does it feel better right ear, right shoulder, and the chin lifts up and back? Good. Squeezing the elbows together, keep the collarbones broad, like really widening out to the corners of your shoulders, bringing the right ear back towards your right shoulder. Good. And then head back up through center. Inhale the arm bones back, open the chest. So usually, Maria, like the stronger someone's upper back gets to, like the safer the neck starts to feel. Inhale. Puff the chest, go ahead, drop your chin down, like you're squeezing like an orange underneath the chin here. Good, and then look at the top of your mat as you release your hands and press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, yep. Keep thinking that you're pressing your chest towards the tops of your thighs. Yes, good, very long through the low back, and then let's do the last side. Knees down to the mat, point toes, sit back on your heels, bend elbows, shrug the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale, open the chest. And then as you bend your elbows, take your hands over to the left, directly below your left ribs, and then left ear, left shoulder. I always just kind of recommend, like, it's kind of fragile, right? The neck goes slow. And then feel free to let the head roll slightly forward. It's still leaning over to the left. Good. A little exploration as you feel the pull of those different muscles all the way, maybe even towards the spine. And then left ear back towards your left shoulder. And the chin pulls up and back. There you go. Yep. Into the jaw. Inhale. Exhale, left ear back towards your left shoulder. And then as you come through center, yeah, lengthen the spine. Inhale, arm bones back, firm your triceps, and chin down towards your chest. Yeah, so in kind of neutral there. Inhale. Exhale, release. Hands plant at the top of your mat to press all the way back, downward facing dog. Yeah, whenever you come into that down dog, I do, like, I always kind of like shake my head out a little bit, maybe wiggle your shoulders. Good, and then step right foot outside edge of right hand. So everything today will be a little bit of that, yeah, good, a little bit of that like wider lunge here. And then left foot steps forward, nice and wide to the left side of the sticky mat. Good. Rise to fingertips here. Inhale, open. And then exhale, fold in. And it's like you're pulling your torso or your belly between the inner upper thighs. Good. Rise to fingertips. Inhale, look forward. And then step left foot all the way back. Okay, so as your left foot reaches back, hands are on the inside edge of that front right foot. Good. And then lower your back left knee down. Yep, so the left knee comes onto the mat. And as you push your palms, see if you can shrug the shoulders down away from your ears and lift your chest here. Nice. Okay, so think like happy baby pose, right? Kind of the energy from the heel, the right heel to the right knee. Think to drive that down, squeeze the glutes. Inhale, lift the chest. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, pace and breath. Exhale, left foot steps, outside edge of left hand. Yeah, really wide, lizard lunge. And back right knee down. Yep, kind of take the balancing element out of it. And then I keep my hands actually planted. And as I think to pull my hands back, my shoulders shrug back and the heart pulls through here. Good, open up the breath. Maybe you find a spot outside the window, kind of take it all in. Gaze is steady. Push from right toe. Squeeze that left knee in towards your left shoulder. Use a little bit of core. Inhale. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank pose. Good, and then put your knees down here. And I really want you to focus on the upper back strength. So as the elbows bend, think to squeeze your shoulder blades together. Good, point toes. And then just inhale, Maria, lift the hands up off the mat a little. Yep, shoulders up. Check in with the neck. So maybe you kind of look down onto your cheeks, softening the cheeks, put all that work into the upper back, and then drop the hands and tap your forehead down. Just relax through the back of the neck. And then as you push your hips into the mat, again, lift up, squeeze shoulder blades. Inhale. Yep, so a little bit of back strength always helps my neck. And then exhale, lower. One more time, lift the hands, shrug the shoulders, right? Sometimes I think that I really am trying to like hold a pencil between that entire like inner border of the shoulder blades, and then hands down to press back, downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale, knees down to the mat. Point your toes. Yep, sit back on your heels. Okay, step your left foot out, and it kind of goes at that like 45-degree angle, like it's facing towards like, 10 o'clock. The heel is in quite close. Turn the belly, turn the chest, and then reach forward. Yep, and maybe tuck your left foot in even more, Maria, like close your left knee. Yeah, pull that in tight. And then the right hip, it does lift a little. Shift your weight forward, and the left heel, it comes, I would think like a stack of cards, right? That's what I'm trying to get out. Like that's about the distance my left heel is. You could think maybe like a grape. Yep, so I can just barely slide my hand underneath the left heel, and then go ahead, and as you're arms and fingertips creep forward. You can drop your head and use the weight of your upper body, pressing it into the top of the left knee until you feel the Achilles tendon stretch here. And to get a little more, you think to drop the weight back. So my left heel never touches the mat, but it sinks down and back. Good. Pace and breath. Inhale. Exhale. Let's go one more. Seeing how close now as you press through the root of your left big toe, as you anchor down through your inner left heel. Can you get any more Achilles tendon stretch? And then come back to center. Tabletop. And I'd like you directly, Marie, to go right into your down dog and hopefully feel a little bit of a difference between the left side and the right side. Left heel should potentially sink a little bit deeper into the mat. And then knees down, point toes, hips back towards your heels. And let's do the second side. So right toes out, heel in tight. And I do kind of think of it like a child's pose, the way that you would kind of seal your upper body or your torso, yeah, and reach slightly forward. It's weighted. Good. Hearing the sound of the Ujjayi breath. And I actually really specifically focus to try to keep some of the weight more on the inner edge of the foot. Yep. Use the head and your right shoulder as like a counterweight. As you push that right shoulder forward and down, you get this huge flexion at your ankle. Okay, we're gonna say for like one more breath, if you can press that heel down and back any more, kind of really stretch that like rope like Achilles tendon. Good. And then pull yourself back up through center, tabletop position, and check out your down dog now. Bounce through the Achilles tendon. And then as you look forward, step both feet wide to the top of your mat. Good. Bend your knees now, drop your hips, sit low. So for a lot of people, Maria, once you've stretched the Achilles tendon, it actually starts to make like Malasana a little bit more accessible. Elbows against the inner knees. And then I want you to squeeze from your outer hips and lift all the way to stand. Yep. Circle the arms around and up. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, look up. And then exhale, bend your knees and sink all the way back down into Malasana. One more time, dig into the heels, press up. No sun salutations today, just a little bit of standing. Inhale, reach up, stretch up. And as you flex through your ankles and your knees and your hips, this is called triple flexion as you come all the way down. Good, fingertips to the mat. Step left foot deeply back. So you've got this lizard lunge is what we're thinking of. Like that right foot is kind of like in that happy baby. Good. Now, left heel is going to spin to flat. Skandasana over your right leg. Excellent. So left toes turn up and then go ahead and round your spine, Maria. So let your head hang. Yep. Crawl your fingertips away from you and use your arms. Yep, that looks good. Yep, use your arms exactly like reaching away from you as a counterbalance. Dig the left heel down into the mat. Good. And the more I walk my hands to the right, I get a little more opening through the left side body. Good. Maybe even your right shoulder helps to open that inner right knee. Think that our peak pose today here is like these Malasanas. So we want all this opening through the inner thighs. And then turn all the way to the top of your mat as you plant your hands. Downward facing dog. Good. Yep. Nice smooth transition there. Inhale. Exhale. Left foot steps outside edge of your left hand. Good. And then right heel spins all the way around as you deeply bend into your left knee. Skandasana. And think like a cat pose, rounding the spine here. Yes. Good. Yeah, so it looks like your heels all the way down, really good. So that's why I like to do like some Achilles tendon stretches before I approach this pose. And go ahead and let your hips kind of sink down and back, but then allow your fingertips, your arms to start to walk, maybe more to the left, opening into the right side body. Now, Maria, I really squeeze and activate that right kneecap. I try to pull up. Not only is my right heel pressing down, I also kind of imagine dragging my right heel towards my left heel. Yeah? So you kind of pull it into your core. See how this feels on your low back to keep kind of spreading the knees open wide. And then please pivot, turn all the way to the top of your mat, planting your hands, nice smooth transition. Good job. Press back, down dog. See how the inner legs feel. And then please shift forward into plank pose. Good. Plank pose, knees down. And lower directly all the way onto your belly. Yep, come straight down. Point toes, interlace the fingers this time behind your hips. Yeah, good. And then I'm just going to start by tapping my chin down. And then on an inhale, lift up. And exhale, tap. Little sit-ups for your back body. Inhale up. Yep, stretching the hands back behind you, tap, I think that's like a nightstand behind you. Think from the shoulders to the elbows to the knuckles, like long arms, and tap. Plant your hands and make your way all the way back. Downward facing dog. And sometimes, Maria, depending on how my low back feels, I even take my feet wider in my down dog. Yeah, sometimes that can be nice. Yeah, you get more of that hinge of the hips. There we go. And as the armpits wide and open, you press your chest back towards your thighs. Pace and breath. Inhale. Exhale, look forward and step your feet wide to the top of your mats. Good. Inhale, lengthen, half flat back. Pull a little more length. Good. And then exhale, think to fold in. Yeah, you can maybe hold the ankles, hold the calves, a little more hamstring. Rise the fingertips, look forward, half flat back. Bend your knees, drop your hips, sit all the way down and low into your Malasana. And then this time, Maria, interlace your fingers and stretch your arms straight up here. Good. Chin away from your chest. Inhale. Exhale, right shoulder inside edge of right knee, right fingertips to the ground, and then left arm up. Okay. Yeah, so one of the things you kind of mentioned was the mid back, the neck. Think that you're reaching from the rib cage up and out. And then come back through center, interlace your fingers, stretch from your side ribs up through the armpits, chin away from your chest here. Inhale, arms up, reaching. Yeah, lengthen up here, spread your knees open wide, go into the inner thighs, and then left shoulder, inside edge of left knee, press that open and rotate up. Good. So Potentially, as long as it's okay on your neck, think that you look in the direction of your fingertips. Yeah, so everything rolls open here. And then coming back through center, Malasana. Notice if the hips are getting any heavier, like the tailbone has this place to drop. Fingertips to the mat and deeply step, left foot back. You're in your lizard lunge. Good. Back left knee down. Turn your right foot open at that 45-degree angle off to like about 2 o'clock. Right hand, right knee. Start to take your twist. Right? So we're pivoting around that left shoulder. And as you look towards the back of your mat, can you bend your left knee in, reach back, and grab a hold of the foot? Yep. Good. As much of a twist, as much of a back bend as you want to get here. Good. 1. Sometimes I back off on the inhale and then only squeeze in on the exhale. And then I give myself some space so it's not as intense. I open and then exhale, squeeze in. Yep. Thinking that the center of that left thigh is dropping down towards the floor. Looks good. Maybe one more time, pulse a little bit away, chest lifts, and drag the heel in. Excellent. Plant your palms all the way back. Downward facing dog. Shake the head. Wiggle out the shoulders a little. Yes. Does that down dog feel more comfortable for you, Maria? It looks good when your knees are bent and the sitting bones are like really bright up towards the ceiling. Yeah. Your spine looks like probably the most extended I've seen it. Yep, like long as you stretch forward through your hands. And then left foot steps, outside edge of left hand, lizard lunge. Good. Notice how like in your step too, it's coming all the way up there. So that's a big opening through the inner thighs. Back right knee down, turn your left foot open. And then I just start left hand, left knee. So I get a little bit of that twist, right? A little bit of your mid back. And then left arm reaches back as you bend your right knee and fold your right leg in for the quad stretch on the second side. Yep. Depending if you can, I like to hold or reach for the pinky edge side of the foot, Maria, because when I grab the pinky edge side, my shoulder rolls more open, right? And you can squeeze the shoulder blades together. When I grab the inner edge, my left shoulder is an internal spiral. When I grab the outer edge, my shoulders can roll open and I can squeeze my back more. Now, a couple of times, if you can push away and then bend that left elbow and pulse in. 1, find your pace, find your breath. Inhale, little back bend. Exhale, squeeze in. And I really think that I'm trying to get like that center of the right thigh closer and closer towards the floor. Plant the palms all the way back, downward facing dog. Good. Pedal out your legs, shake out your head. Inhale. Exhale, inhale, slide that forward into plank. Knees come down. And as you bend your elbows, lower, slow. Press into the hands, inhale up, cobra. Yep. So, okay, now in your cobra, Bria, let's make sure we keep the hips and the pubic bone down and just really put that into your upper back. Yeah, so my hips are actually still on the mat, like I know I'm on a black mat today, but I can really push my pubic bone into the floor. Because if my hips come up, it all goes into my low back, right? So I want to actually feel that I'm sliding my belly button forward and not up. So belly button goes forward, lengthening on the floor. Yeah, that looks better. That's more of your cobra. And then press it all the way back, downward facing dog. So I sometimes know, like in the pace of a yoga class, like it's really kind of tempting to do this like half cobra, half up dog, right? But we try to make sure that you clearly, so the difference is in an up dog, the legs are off the mat. So a little less pressure goes into your low back. Inhale. Exhale, big wide steps to the top of your mat. This is our last round. Good. Rise to fingertips, inhale long through the center of your chest. Yeah. And as much bend in your knees as you want as you fold in here. Yeah. Okay, so I started this class and Pia was going to join today. So, but Pia is the one who's pregnant. And so we've been doing this like with the idea that kind of think that like you're snuggling your belly, like in between the inner thighs. Yeah, that you really kind of like are able to tuck in round. And then bend your knees, drop your hips, sit down into your Malasana. Good. Elbows against your inner knees. So if you can kind of remember like happy baby pose, it was the back of the hips, the back of the heart, and the back of the head on the floor. And we were trying to lift our low back away from the mat. So it's like you're trying to arch your spine here. Good. And then loose through the shoulders, soft through the face. Inhale. Exhale, fingertips to the mat, step left foot all the way back. Good. Drop that back left knee down. Okay. And then finally here, this is our last one. Come all the way down into lizard pose. It's pretty specific. It's a little hard to do. I want you to think that your right shin, the right lower leg, is actually squeezing in, but your upper right thigh bone is widening out. Good. And then as you press into your elbows, can you pull the center of your chest forward? And then Maria, as you look forward, stretch that right arm forward. Good. And see if from your right hip crease through the right side ribs, right armpit, if you can find a little more length there. Step down and strongly into that right foot. Inhale. Exhale, hands walk back. Good job. And all the way back, downward facing dog. Pedal the leg, shake the head. Left foot steps outside edge of left hand. Slide the right knee back. Make sure, I kind of visually check sometimes too, that I keep my left knee directly over my left heel, and then drop down. Lizard lunge. There's this kind of like mantra that we would do in the teacher trainings, and it's shins in, shins, even that back shin, it's kind of hard to do. Like both shins are always pulling in towards one another, like towards the midline, but your upper thighs are trying to widen out, shins in, thighs out. And then as you look forward, Maria, if you look forward, it starts to take that rounding out of your spine, and then go ahead and walk your left fingertips forward. Think to pull the bones of the legs apart, stretch through the spine here. So all of these poses have actually been quite good for relieving pressure in the hips, which can help with the low back. Inhale. Exhale, good. Hands walk back underneath your shoulders and press that all the way back into your downward facing dog. Last time. Inhale forward into plank. knees down. And that's a lot of the times why I put my knees down, so that I can control as I bend my elbows to feel that my shoulder blades always stay on my upper back. They never roll forward, especially if you've got some shoulder issues, right? So shoulder blades are nestled onto my upper back, push the pubic bone down, and then just lift your chest. Like you're sliding your belly button forward and then lower down. And sometimes the shoulders want to pull up by the ears. See if you can keep pressing the shoulders down and get long through the sides of the neck. Hips on the mat, so that's going right into your low back every time your hips peel off. Yeah, good. Like you could even think belly button on the mat. Like I would probably, for you, Maria, like a cobra should really only be as much as you can lift up with your hands off the mat. That should kind of be your cobra. And see, there should be almost no pressure in your low back. It should only be strengthening there. Good. And then plant your hands. Go ahead and press back, downward facing dog. So sometimes personally, like I do some of those remedial things. Like I take my hands off the mat all the time in my cobra, just to remind myself that it's not about how much lift up you get. It's about how much strength you get in the low back. And then let's make sure, let's come down onto the knees for you. Yep, let's come down onto the knees, and let's go back to yesterday. Let's approach pigeon pose. Okay. Yeah, good. Flexing your feet. Let's go over the left leg. So left leg goes forward. So, right, like a lot of times from down dog, that knee is kind of like always stuck, folded in. And that's why people feel too much pressure in the knee. Well, here, if you activate through the foot, through the ankle, yep, and then press that left knee so it's down on the floor, so it's really stable. And then let your belly, chest, and chin fold on that diagonal in the direction of the left knee. This is the most kind of modified version of a pigeon. Kind of takes out the equation of the back leg. And it should be quite safe on the knee. Thinking that you're pressing that outer left knee down. Inhale. Exhale. And then please pull that back up to center. Get your hip mobility here. Swing through the knees. Rotate opposite side. Good. And like I use my hand. Like I try to feel that thigh bone down as much as possible. And then turn the belly and fold here. So then eventually what starts to happen, you could straighten your back left leg, right? You could slowly, it will just depend if you feel like you need to go deeper or not, but it can be enough here. Go back to find your pace and breath. Inhale. Think of a balloon in your back, right hip, filling it up there. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your hands back up through center. Okay, you'll just turn, you'll stay facing me, Maria, bottoms of your feet together, knees wide. And just a very simple twist, like left hand right knee. This will be your last pose. I just want to make sure that you really get like your mid back, right? Like if you were feeling stuck there. So I just use my left hand on the outside edge of that right knee. Use your back hand and see how much you can turn your upper back towards the windows. Good, a little thoracic mobility. Inhale. Exhale. Come through center and right hand, outside edge of left knee. Press your right knee down. How much can you turn your upper back towards the nightstand? Inhale. Exhale. Come back through center. Good. And then pivot, turn to face the top of your mat. Drop down onto your elbows, kind of same way that we came up, feet wide, knees wide, and go ahead here and get a little bit of that kind of swishing back and forth, massage across your low back. And then as you lower down, we're gonna make sure that you're lengthening your low back out of your hip, upper back and head down onto the mat. Opening the arms and legs for Shavasana. If you feel it in your low back, sometimes what I do is I take the top of my mat, Maria. See how this feels for you. I take the top of my mat and I roll it up. I roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it, roll it until I can bring it kind of right underneath, like the smile of like my butt cheeks. Yeah, and I have a thick mat. I think you have like a pretty thick mat. Yeah. Yeah, and then as I lie down, I keep rolling and rolling until it really kind of settles into the smile of the butt cheek, like right where the leg. And as it presses your legs up a little, that usually helps take some pressure out of the low back. Eyelids are heavy here. Brush your awareness down the body, maybe into the hips. So that was Achilles tendon, ankle flexion, knee flexion, and flexion at your hips. From Malasana to release your low back. Yeah. Exhale. A little different than how we always come out. I'd like you to bend your knees, step the feet into the mat, and take one more happy baby pose, right? And so at the beginning of class, right, maybe remember some of like the tightness in the inner thighs. And at the beginning of class, you did that little rocking back and forth from left hip to right hip. Yeah, massage across your low back. Feel a little bit of tension between the hands and the foot. knees press open wide. So it's shins in, thighs out. And then really, you can roll to the right and press up to find seated. Let's go left hand out to the side, since it's you and I. If your upper body's been stiff, let's just go in and out a couple times, Maria. Right arm out, left arm up and over. Good. Inhale. Exhale, I start to bend that left elbow. Good. Up and out over there. So usually if something feels stuck in my body, holding it doesn't always feel that good, because I actually just pull more tension. So usually in and out, this kind of more dynamic movement. Now we have one more. When we come over here to the left, bend your right elbow and do a little tap touch into the mid back there. And open up, inhale. And one more round, chin to chest, it widens the upper back. Open up and final side, and then I'll let you go, but I just kind of want mine not touch everything here. Reach up and out, left knee is heavy. Good, maybe bend your right elbow, and then as you cup the back of your head, inhale, open. Exhale, twist tap. Open. Side body, good, head back into hand and round. Back through center from your left shoulder to your left fingertips, reach. Come all the way back up to center, shoulders loose. Good. And just hold your hands in front of your heart center. Scan the body, see if that helped at all. And then thumbs to your third eye as you bow forward to seal your practice. Try